Tammy Sytch back in jail briefly. She was arrested again. Oh my gosh, this time for apparently threatening to kill her boyfriend with a pair of scissors while completely out of her mind on drugs. Now, she just spent, I don't know how long it was, but it felt like it was a good year in prison or in jail for doing time for, I believe, 6 DUIs she had. She was also arrested probably 12 times in the last 10 years. 1 year, I don't know what year it was, I'd say 2012, 2013, she was arrested like 5 times in a month. It was crazy. Remember that? It was like every 2 days, and then she got it. She was like stalking some boyfriend. She is an absolute goddamn train wreck, trash fire, super combination thing. It's really hard to describe how sad this whole situation is for Sunny. I'm to the point where I have zero sympathy for her. We hate to see people be this messed up and hit rock bottom so many times. But how many times can you fucking hit rock bottom? This woman spent a long time in jail, a long time in prison. If that doesn't straighten you out, what the hell will? We're talking 6 DUIs. We're talking something like 10, 12 arrests since 2012. I don't know how she hasn't been behind bars longer. I don't know how some judge hasn't seen her for like the 100th time. Like, you know what? I'm sick of this. You're going in for 10 years. See it in 10 years. That ought to do it. But, you know, unless they do something like that, she seems like she is completely out of her mind. She cannot handle freedom, because even if she's in jail and she gets out, she goes right back to her old behavior. I don't know how this is possible. I feel like if you've had as many DUIs as Sunny has, been in jail as much as Sunny has, you'd have some sort of probation that would be lingering on, right? And don't they drug test you on probation? How is she able to avoid, you know, not being busted by her probation officer for being on drugs and being sent right back to jail? How is that not a part of her probation? Because this seems to be somebody that's just drunk or fucked up on drugs 24/7, 25/8. She is like this. And every goddamn story is the same thing. She is so horrible. Now, apparently this entire confrontation, this entire thing took place on and was recorded by dash cam. The officer apparently saw her charge and try to stab the boyfriend with scissors. What is it with wrestlers and scissors? So she goes after her boyfriend, and basically she's been charged with terroristic threats and assault with a deadly weapon, and a lot of this stuff carries major jail time. So she appeared in court. She was released under certain conditions. She had to go to some court-ordered bullshit, but now she's got to face these charges. So I don't know what kind of lawyer she has. She somehow was able to rake in a bunch of dollars, apparently, from her OnlyFans account, which is the only thing she's really doing. And apparently she does make a lot of money from that. I would assume this is all going to legal fees. So she must have one hell of an attorney. However, you know, at what point does a judge, it doesn't matter what kind of lawyer you have. How can you keep putting this person in front of a judge and she keeps getting away without any sort of serious punishment or penalties? I think we need to talk about 5 to 10 years for Sunny. I think she has no hope of ever cleaning herself up, ever. I just don't think she has it in her. If she did, she would have done it already. So I think something like that, to where you put her away for a fucking decade, if that doesn't detox her ass, I don't know what the hell will, you know, and maybe she'll come out and she'll have no choice but just to be clean and better. And maybe in there she'll fucking find religion or find whatever the fuck you need to find to not be such a goddamn train wreck, because I don't want to read the headline, Sunny found dead in her home. And I feel like we're like one headline away from that happening. And that's sad to say that, but it's true. We've had conversations on this channel, very similar conversations 5 years ago as it related to China. And how did that end? So with Sunny, zero sympathy for her. I say throw her in jail and throw away the key. Because as much as I'm disgusted with Sunny, as much as I think she has completely wasted her life, I don't want her to die. So I hope that when she faces these charges, she is convicted of every single one of them and given the max sentence consecutively. And she has to serve those one after another. Hopefully it will total 5 to 10 years. Hopefully she'll come out of there, you know, in her 50s or whatever, or maybe close to 60 by that point. And she can have a pleasant final 20 years of her life where she's clean, sober, happy, and at peace. But it doesn't sound like being in jail helps either. She was in jail for a year. She came out. She's just as fucked up as ever. So I think it's going to take some serious time. But it doesn't sound like she can function in society. She cannot function amongst people and around the temptations of alcohol, drugs. I don't know why men keep dating her. Every one of her arrests, go back and look at the arrest records over the last 10 years. Just about all of them involve some boyfriend. So she's fucking out of her mind. They probably have these crazy knockdown, drag out fights, and they're screaming and yelling, and she's nuts and psycho and fucking psycho. So, Sonny, get your act together. You were an absolute disgrace and a terrible representation of wrestling. They should yank that Hall of Fame achievement away from you. If they took Hogan's away and guys like that, then Sonny absolutely needs to be removed from the Hall of Fame, because I think she's a fucking disgrace, and she's a black eye in the industry. And she was a horrible person when she was in it. She was a trendsetter. She was the hottest thing going. I thought Sonny, back in 1996, I don't think there was a woman on this planet that was hotter than her. However, remember when she managed the Smoking Guns? Remember that brown outfit? But that being said, she's a black eye in the business. She's somebody I don't think of very fondly at all. Because even back then, she was a piece of shit. What she did to Candido, and cheating on him and fucking Sean in front of his face. Trash. Trash, trash, trash. So, Sonny, get your act together. Dude, don't. I guess at this point, we don't care. We just don't want to see you dead. We'd like to see you alive and happy and at peace and not a psycho. So let's try to de-psycho yourself, if that's even fucking possible. I think we're way past jail time. I think we're talking voltage at this point. Plug her into a machine. Shock her ass back into sanity. I don't know. But getting really sick of seeing Sonny arrested stories, because she's fucking terrible. Fucking terrible. Sonny, I hope you're watching this. You're terrible. Get your act together. Anyway,